Pursuit. We are continuing our conversation on Jesus in our generation. But before we do that, Kevin, do you wanna throw us to the intro?
Yes. All right. So hopefully, when you guys are watching this, you'll see this picture on your screen. But basically, the goal is to pick 2 fast food places that will serve you free products for 1 year. I'm gonna take it up a level and say you can't go to any of the other places for that 1 year. You have to only go to those 2 fast food places for that year. So we have Quiznos, Sub, Wendy's, Burger King, Subway, Sonic, McDonald's, Arby's, Chipotle, Starbucks, Jack in the Box, Pizza Hut, Denny's, Taco Bell, KFC, Papa John's, and Popeyes.
Denny's counts as fast food.
I mean, it does come pretty fast.
But like, that's not what I would consider as like a fast food. Like, you know what I mean?
They're fast-ish. I mean, I wouldn't consider Starbucks fast food either.
That's true. I think.
Maybe I shouldn't have said fast food, but I think we get it.
Okay.
Because I feel like you're gonna poke a lot of holes in the fact that I said fast food right now. So let's just skip past that.
I mean, those are the only 2 from those options. Okay.
Is Chipotle fast food?
I mean, kind of. The line isn't fast always, but the food itself is like, you know what I mean? Rice, beans, vegetables, meat, done.
All right. I feel like we should eliminate stuff, not just jump to.
Yes, I concur.
I already have my 2.
Oh.
It was a no-brainer for me.
All right. I feel like we should start with you because you have no brainer.
Okay. My first one is Starbucks. My second one is Chipotle.
All right. I'm gonna take offense to this right now.
Okay.
I think we come. Right? And I text everyone, hey, do you want Starbucks? All right. Now, I know you normally want, but I just do it just in case. Never.
Formality.
Yeah. Right? Text everyone on the sidewall. And then, I did not get the wrong drink. When you say, get me whatever you want.
But you're my friend, you're supposed to know all of it.
They said, you're my friend, you're supposed to know what it's like.
Starbucks, question mark. Aw, yeah, I'm thirsty, anything.
What?
They are offended that you would pull up the receipts.
And looks at the wall.
Stares at wall shamefully.
All right. I still have to say, this one never takes any Starbucks. Ever.
Well, I wouldn't say never. Today I almost did.
She almost did.
I almost.
You almost did.
Um,
And before I could even open my phone to see what she sent, she rescinded. So.
well,
Oh, you can unsend messages, right?
No, she just changed her mind.
Oh, okay.
yeah, I said never mind. Well, because I wanted a nice coffee, but I was like, which iced coffee do I want? Then I got a Coke, and then I was like, you know what? It's just.
That also nice.
But like every week, I'm always drinking like tea or coffee, and I don't want to have too much caffeine. Or I'm not going to be able to sleep. So.
They have other things.
Well.
I get refreshers.
She says all that, but then the question is, you're only going to go to this place for a whole year.
Well, I'm not gonna make tea anymore. I'm just gonna get it from Starbucks if it's free.
Yeah, for real.
All right, I'll just do
Starbucks
that.
and Chipotle also. Pick the 2 most basic.
What are you picking?
I'm not gonna lie, like I'm also upset that you picked Chipotle because Chipotle is horrible.
I don't think Chipotle is horrible. I just think it's bland. I always gotta douse that in like hot sauce for days. Cholula. I have a bottle of Cholula at my work desk purely for when I go to Chipotle.
What else on here
I
is
also have
looking
a bottle of
appealing?
syrup. I have so many things on my desk. Everyone knows. Yes, I eat my Chipotle from one end of the bowl to the rest, to the end.
As you should.
I don't just mix it up. I have like a savage.
That's a crime.
I eat as I go.
I feel like I stumbled into something.
Wait, how do you eat your?
I don't eat Chipotle.
Okay, how do you eat your
You
bowl?
were getting a bowl from Chipotle. Whoa. Qdoba, whatever, how would you eat it? If you were
I
getting
feel
a
like
bowl.
the rest of them, I don't know, the bowls. Yeah, no, because
How do you eat a bowl of anything?
If anything, yeah.
Do you eat it from like side to side?
I feel like it's the same with food.
Does it?
Yeah.
What's your answer?
It depends on the food.
I feel like we're way off topic.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna go with elimination.
Yes.
I'm gonna eliminate Quiznos, Arby's, Papa John's, Pizza Hut, and Jack in the Box, straight off the bat.
Okay, why?
I can't remember the last time I've had Quiznos, Arby's, Pizza Hut, or if I've ever had Jack in the Box.
I mean, I agree with, okay, I've never had Jack in the Box. I think of Papa John's and it's whatever. I feel like Arby's fries are really good. They're curly fries.
Oh yeah, I buy the big freezer bags.
There you
The
go.
ones that you make at home.
Yeah. But that's the only thing they have, I would say. So let's eliminate it. Quiznos. I don't know if I've ever actually been to a Quiznos.
I feel like I had it once, like as a pit stop on a road trip.
But my problem with Quiznos is I'm pretty sure they were the company when Subway was getting really popular with the guy that's now in jail. But
Yeah,
when they were getting popular,
relevant information.
they were trying to get popular and they had 2 rats as like the employees in their commercial. And I never understood why a fresh food place would advertise their food with 2 rats in uniform. I also may be confusing this with Blimpie, but I mean they're pretty much the same thing, right? And it's like, why would you do that?
Do you know what? I'm also gonna eliminate Denny's.
Really?
Well, we was eating that.
Yeah, but that was the only time. I can't remember any other time that I've had Denny's.
Let's go after Jones.
Let's go to our pajama store. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I guess it would eliminate things. I would eliminate KFC.
I would eliminate Burger King as well.
What?
I know. I don't understand how you.
Was she mad that we eliminated
Burger
KFC?
King.
Oh, Burger King.
Burger
Okay. With McDonald's and Wendy's there, yeah, of course you're gonna eliminate Burger King.
Yeah, I don't. Burger King.
More than McDonald's.
What happened?
You don't have a microphone, so just.
This is not healthy conflict management.
I believe in healthy communication, so we're going to talk about.
So wait, what's left now? So,
Taco Bell, Starbucks, Chipotle, Sonic, Subway. Also, I'm gonna eliminate Subway. I don't have it that often. Like I've gone without it. I can continue to go without it.
We know her answer.
Tara's very offended over there. She might just mute me for the rest of the episode. Also KFC. I haven't had that in a long time.
I mean, if Popeyes is there, I don't see why you go to KFC. And I think the last time I had KFC was when we did the chicken sandwich taste, and theirs was the worst,
Oh yeah.
which made me just hate them. I would also eliminate McDonald's if Wendy's is there, because I feel like I would eat more stuff.
Wendy's fries are.
Yeah, but I would eat other stuff. That's the thing. Like, am I just gonna go eat fries for a year from one place? Like, I think Wendy's has better burgers and chicken sandwiches. Yeah.
Question, why isn't there Chinese food in there?
I didn't make this far. Why?
Far asked why there's no Chinese food options.
Prior to Subway and what? Chipotle.
And Far also picks Subway and Chipotle.
Exactly.
Exactly. Do you know, I can't fully eliminate Chipotle because sometimes their chips and salsa just be hid. Like there will be times at work where I will just order chips and salsa, like a double order. And I'll just eat that for that'll be my snack for the day.
So we have Sonic, Wendy, Chipotle, Starbucks, Taco Bell, Popeyes, and I guess you have McDonald's still on the table.
Yeah. I would keep McDonald's over. I don't want to pick up Sonic because of Sonic.
How often do you go to Sonic?
But now that I don't have the option to, I want to.
That's the thing for me. I like Sonic, but I would take it off. Please don't go there.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to go there.
I'm gonna put Taco Bell.
Okay,
That's
I agree
my
with
one
you.
of my two.
I agree with you on that one. Especially now that the Mexican pizza back and everything.
I've never had it.
It's overrated.
Stay tuned for the next time we film. I'll have it for the
That's
first
so
time ever on camera.
It-
Who's buying it? We'll see.
We have a toasted chalupa.
Maybe, I don't know. I don't remember. Do you know what I have had?
What?
Baja Blast! You have to say it like a lady does it. You have to. She wanted me to say it again. Baja Blast! You gotta get the vibrato in there too. Ah!
That's gonna be the clip. For
Yeah.
Make a loop from that, and that's it. Tune in for the next episode of Pursuit. Baja Blast. That's all you're gonna hear.
I put on the bottom, not sponsored by Taco Bell.
But I agree, I would keep Taco Bell.
Yeah.
Um,
Taco Bell's my one. Question.
yes.
I cannot go to the other places, but can other people buy me?
You cannot consume food from these places.
Oh!
Jeez.
What's left? Wendy's, McDonald's, Starbucks, Chipotle, Popeyes, right? I'm gonna go with Taco Bell
Mm-hmm.
and McDonald's for nostalgia sake.
I would do Taco Bell like these.
No Starbucks? You guys are.
This is just drinks. I can't
suffice with
Yeah.
this drink. McDonald's Sprite, the spiciest of them all.
I agree.
I needed a boost before. So on Friday, Vanity graduated from 8th grade, and I was coming from work. I came home, I changed, I picked Lex up, and I was like, all right, I'm falling asleep at the wheel. I got a McDonald's Sprite, ready to go. That was all I needed.
It's like so crazy because I know she doesn't drink caffeine. So
I don't
for her
drink
to get like a boost,
Mm.
she drinks a Sprite, which is caffeine free if I remember correctly.
It's the bubbles, it's the spiciness. If you know, you know.
Alright.
I stand by that. McDonald's Sprite is the spiciest, and therefore it's the best. It is like static through your brain. It's just a little shots, and you're good. You know what I mean?
Please let us know what you guys are thinking in the comments.
Okay, well, that was a good conversation.
Way too much-
Yeah.
Way too much time on that.
We're just gonna jump right into this new topic.
Where our priorities lie.
So today we're talking about narcissism, which is a pretty heavy topic, I
Wait,
think.
we can look up.
Vanity, yes.
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
Do you have feelings to this topic?
No, I didn't realize that was the word.
Oh.
Like, wow, okay, it's not strong. Okay.
Yeah. Well, especially with like this day and age, I feel like it's very easy to have like selfish intentions and want to put ourselves first before like anybody. Well, that's not necessarily a bad thing, I think, but it's just in the way that you do it. I think it's not okay to put it. I mean, it's okay to put yourself first, but then also being humble to like everybody else.
I think the issue with it comes to when you expect everyone else to put you first as well.
Mhm.
You have like that sense of entitlement behind it, that it's like, I'm putting myself first, so therefore everyone else needs to step behind, like to fall behind me. And then that's where that problem.
Yeah, and I feel like status is a really big thing right now. So I guess my first question would be, would you want to be in the spotlight, like be a celebrity?
No.
Really? Like not at all?
Because there's so much added pressure. Like, I already put pressure on myself, right, to present myself a certain way. But then I also do a lot of dumb things. So for that just to be magnified and put all over the internet solely because of I am a celebrity, no, thank you.
I was gonna say no, just because I don't like the idea of like the paparazzi and all that kind of stuff. Like, did you guys see the video of Tom Hanks and his wife?
I think so.
And like they're just walking and like 20 people following them, and his wife like she kind of like stopped short, and like the guy was so close he couldn't stop and then bump into her. And like I don't think anything. I think maybe she dropped like her glasses or her phone. Right? She dropped something she was holding. And Tom Hanks is the only time I've seen Tom Hanks angry. I don't even think I've seen him angry in like movies, and he started like a World War II movie. He was really angry then. And he just started yelling at them, and you could see all of these like grown men like they felt so ashamed. Like guys that were in the back of the room touch her, they were like about to cry. They got yelled at by Tom Hanks. And I think
Tom Hanks.
yes, it was
America's sweetheart.
someone said it was like they got yelled at by America's dad.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's true. Then someone did it where they like replaced it with Woody, and I was like, no, I can't take this seriously. But I can't deal with that. Just not having privacy does not seem.
It's not really.
Yeah, it's not.
I feel like I would want to, but with moderation. Like like there are some celebs that you don't ever see in the press, and they're like pretty low key. So I don't know.
I mean, if that's what we're talking, like if we're talking about like being a celebrity but still having like a very high level of privacy and of like you know you have your own life outside of that, 100%, I would love that.
I feel like those are very rare.
Yeah, exactly.
In like today's level of celebrity.
Especially because a lot of ways that you maintain your level of like your status of celebrity or whatever is with like posting a whole bunch of things on the internet or making these appearances or going to be like public things. So I feel like nowadays it's kind of hard to maintain that level of privacy or like control over what gets put out.
Like I mean, the only guys I can think of that don't do that are like older actors. Like I know like Denzel Washington's really famous for like having like super private life and things like that. And like you even know like his son was like an actor and stuff like that, which is crazy. So I had to watch like an entire show with him. Like, oh yeah, that's Denzel Washington's son. That's interesting. But at the same time, like, even like the new movie Top Gun just came out, and Miles Teller, like I don't think he's
I love Miles Teller.
He's not like on like social media like that, but like, his wife is posting it now. Right? And it's kind of in response to like people post, but still like now, even when you're not posting, it's like you still kind of lose that privacy to an extent.
Yeah. And also I feel like it's very tricky, the celeb life, because with people kind of like hyping you up, you kind of get, and less concern for the people around you. Like it's mostly like all about you, because that's just the way that you know life and the way that people treat you. Like, have you seen narcissism affect your own life?
I have. Because a lot of times it's not going to be like super blatant, but a lot of times people will have this air of entitlement about them. Mm-hmm. And it's like they just expect you to fall back. They expect you to do certain things for them, or because they say so just because they feel entitled to you or to your role or to like people around them. But there's not like a specific like pinpointed example. Like say like this person exhibited all signs of narcissism. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely have dealt with people who are narcissistic, like especially in work. Like I've literally, I wonder if I can say this. Yeah, I guess I can say this. I had a client, he owned a business, and their business was starting to take a loss. So he was not going to make, I think for him to like kind of keep everyone employed, he had to take a pay cut as the owner. So he was not going to make $100,000 that year. And his response to that was, if I'm not going to make $100,000 on this job, why should I even? That was his response. And I was just like, wow. That's crazy. Mind you, you have other streams of income. It's not like we're saying 100,000 and 50,000, which is like a little. Yeah. I was like, wow, that was a big shock. Because it's weird because he does come across as a very like humble person. Like doesn't wear like almost like Steve Jobs. Like, he's not wearing like brand new stuff or anything like that. I don't even know he has that kind of money. Yeah, no, I'm not making that. I'm not coming. Oh, okay. That's an interesting response. And then his business sucks too, then he lost the business anyway. So kudos to him. He made the right choice.
All right.
Lesson learned, be humble.
Right?
Have you
Yeah.
looked at narcissistic people?
Yeah, but I also feel like I could have had narcissistic
I was going
tendencies.
to ask if that's what you really meant by the question, like if we've been narcissistic. But she started by not talking about herself, so I just want to.
Well, you know, I'm just very humble, so I don't think I've ever. No, I'm kidding. I think, yeah. I think I like my own narcissistic behavior, if that has affected me or affected those around me. I think it's easy to overlook when you have certain tendencies. So it's easy to forget that you might have had these qualities in the past. You might have done certain things in the past. So I can definitely say that I probably have done them, but I just never registered that that was an issue that I have created. You know what I mean? But like especially like we talked about in the last episode that I said, when you're younger, you're playing like semi-leadership positions, you're like on committees and stuff. It can be easy to come across as like a little arrogant, right? Like, hey, you're the youngest, and they're giving you all these things. It's easy to come across that way, even if you're not intending to.
Yeah, I think in that regard, I've probably done the same thing. I also feel like I probably would not be able to tell the difference of me just being like really prideful or have like a high ego about something and it crossing that line into narcissism. So I honestly wouldn't even tell you like, it would definitely be like someone who's like, yo, that was really bad. But if they don't, I would just assume it was cool.
But also, I have so many people that are like gonna check me if I do something that's like, you need to take a seat, you need to sit down. Like there's so many people that are around me that are like, incorrect, come back, like rein it in. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Wait, I definitely have. I'm pretty sure I have, but I don't think it has been as often as I've grown up.
I feel like growing up, like whenever family would come like stay over, usually we would like some of the kids would have to like sleep in the same room, like, and then I would always hate that. Like that, I would be like, no, we can't have guests over because like I don't want to give up my room, and it's like I'm like looking back at it, I'm like, whoa, that was like really rude of me.
Is that narcissistic though?
Or is that just selfish?
Yeah. I'm asking because I've done the same thing, so I just really want to know.
I feel like, isn't it a little?
I think it could be a little
yeah.
How is a narcissist wants to feel bad? That's all I'm saying about that.
Yeah, but you have to have concern for other people.
You have to.
Where's their concern for me when they're kicking me out?
They're not kicking you out. They're just saying, hey.
No, you're right. My
Share.
parents were kicking me out.
Your parents gonna be watching this, like, Kevin, let's have a chat later.
See, I think it's okay to be a little bit uncomfortable for your guests to be comfortable. But my mom raised me that way.
You're the mom. She's taking shots at you.
No, I'm just saying.
She's taking shots at you.
Kevin started it.
I did not.
Kevin started it. But like growing up, we always had people coming in and out of the house. So it was always like, hey, go sleep with your sister. Hey, go sleep on the air mattress, whatever. It was fine. Like I would put up with like a little bit of discomfort for like the short period of time that someone was coming over, because most of the times they were coming from like Guyana or something, where it's like their conditions aren't as ideal as ours are here.
Were you really thinking that?
I didn't really care.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just like, okay, I'll just sleep here. It doesn't matter to me. Or like we would just have like, we would make the best, like we would make it like a big sleepover. It wouldn't just be like, oh, I'm just gonna go sleep over here because you guys are here. It'd be like, no, let's do all these things. Let's make it fun.
Yeah, well, see, you had other people. I didn't have all that. I was just kicked out of the room. If a hobo or something. Okay.
So Sandra, I apologize. I don't know where he's going with this.
We're hoping he'll learn something with
He's not
it.
making you look very good. He's not making you or Pasta look very good, and
Better keep this in.
No, we are.
whew.
Hashtag like a hobo or something. Okay. Okay, moving on.
Yeah,
A little.
when it comes to my sleeping arrangement, sorry.
Yeah, that's the only thing.
That was definitely a shot, but we're way off topic, so I'm gonna let it go.
Yeah. So as mentioned earlier, I feel like status is like a really big thing with this generation, and you know, everybody kind of wants their name out there in some way or another. So in what ways have you felt shame for being ordinary, or in your opinion, why are we afraid to be ordinary?
I think because you don't want to get lost in the crowd. Like everyone wants to stand out for one reason or the other, because you don't want to just get lost in like that mishmash of just people. You want to be different. You want to be noticed, and I think that's a normal human emotion or human like necessity. Like you want to be validated in some way, shape, or form. Even if it's like a self-validation, or like your parents are proud of you, or your friends are like, "Hey, you were really good at this." And I think that's why a lot of times we can feel shameful, like if you don't have like a natural talent that just comes out of you.
I mean, I think it's just like, I forgot the actual phrases, but it's because we're comparing ourselves to others,
Yeah.
right? You know, like, and the same thing, like, you don't have the talent, like, you
Did you say I don't have talent?
like you said, you don't have a talent. You literally just said those words a few minutes ago. I'm not saying you said you don't have talent. Wow.
He's our dog.
Right? Thank you.
So a person can compare themselves to others and think they have no talent, whereas they may just not have the talent of the person they're comparing themselves to.
Yeah.
Okay. This is why I can't be a celebrity. I'll be canceled so quick. But I think that's why we sometimes feel shame for being ordinary. And even then, I think, you know, it's almost like a societal thing to say that you're ordinary.
I think it is, yeah.
What is that really? Yeah, you know. I feel like we say ordinary because it's just you're not super famous, right? You don't have like, I don't even know what would be a high number of likes on Instagram or something, but you don't get that, like whatever it is, like you're not getting that number of likes or retweets or whatever it is. So, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like if we're like going back to like the celebrity example, I think their life is very popularized, where it's like people look at that and they think, wow, they have everything. And so with social media, it comes like we're trying to get as close to that as possible. So anybody that, you know, kind of is authentic and like doesn't care for that like ordinary like lifestyle, it comes off as being meaningless in a way.
I think wasn't that why it was like it was such a big deal when Kylie Jenner came out? She was like, yeah, this postpartum period it wasn't right.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone was like, she's so normal. She's like, it's like so many women go through difficult postpartum periods.
Yeah.
And it's like because she glamorizes her life is so glamorous all the time, and she's always like doing extravagant things. No one would expect her to come back and have like this very normal struggle that a lot of women go through that just doesn't get spoken about. And so everyone was like amazed that she was like popularizing it. Where it's like, if you speak to normal women, it is also a very common topic that they speak about when they're pregnant or when you're expecting or after you've expected, like you've had your child.
I mean, even think of like the word you just used to describe it. It's really weird because it's something, from my understanding, like with that particular thing, that's like more women than not go through that, from what I understand, right? Yet somehow she made it, or she, I guess you said she made it popular and gets to kind of shine a light on it in that sense, even though all these women go through it. I think it goes back into that thing of being ordinary and feeling shame for being ordinary, where it's not necessarily that you're ordinary, like this is just life. Like these things happen, right? And you shouldn't feel shame for going through something. And I think there's even more to unpack with that particular issue, and I'll leave it there. But it's just weird because I know with one of the other Kardashians, I don't remember the name, like she was pushing like how much weight she lost, and then it's like she had like surgery or something. I feel.
Oh, Chloe.
We'll go with that. And it was just weird to see, like, again, like everyone's like, oh yeah, look how much. It's like look how normal she is. She was struggling with the weight, she lost it, and then oh no, she just had enough money to pay for surgery. Now she's not ordinary anymore, right? It's just a weird thing where we put people on sort of these pedestals just because they're famous.
Do you think they show these like relatable struggles just to make themselves more
100%.
popular? Like it's just like that selfish ambition, like we're just like, I'm gonna make myself seem normal so that everyone else can like me more.
Like I don't want to be mean to like them in particular, because I feel like everyone either really loves them or just like they're the butt of the joke. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to like just put that on like they're doing.
I'm not
I feel like
limiting it to.
Oh, okay. I mean, I do feel like there are a lot of sluggers who will
dude, like SZA, I should just be lying about anything. Just like be different and be weird. Like she's like, oh, I've never had a birthday cake in my life. Mind you, scroll back a couple years, she had a birthday cake like 3 years in a row.
No, did you see that thing with Bella Hadid where she was like, she's like, oh my god, like I grew up so humble. I did not get my first what was it?
A TV?
First Louis Vuitton heels until I graduated high school. And everybody was like, oh my god, Bella, your life is so hard.
Yes!
Sorry to...
Oh my god, yes. Or like when SZA had the crutches at like an award show on stage, but then they showed her like in the crowd and she was just dancing hands-free, like on her feet.
I have never felt
thing.
so out of touch with what is happening in the world than I have right now.
Yo, SZA just be killing.
We'll send you some stuff. That
How long it took me to even figure out who you were talking about? It took me a very, very long time, more than it should have.
But like things like that, do you think that they're just trying to be more relatable, just like for people to like them more, or if it's like a genuine like, this is just how she is?
No, I think that they do it because they can't relate to us on certain levels because they're just, I feel like a lot of them are out of touch with reality.
Yeah.
And so to kind of make themselves feel normal, that they just like say things that they think are, that they know that we're going through, or like things that we're like places we shop or whatever, and they'll just throw it out there even though they don't.
I think and that's where the vanity and the narcissism come into play, because it is that sense of vanity where it's like, I need to appeal to my audience more, and I need to do what I think they would like so that they like me even more. Whereas like you can just live your life, you know. It doesn't have to be a show that you're going to talk about or that you're getting chips delivered to your house. Like you can just be.
Yeah. I feel like narcissism is not only unhealthy for our relationships and for our own growth, but it kind of goes against our the main mission to be like Christ, who kind of was, well, not kind of, but was very humble. But I want to read a passage in Philippians 2:3-5, and it starts off by saying, "Don't be selfish. Don't try to impress others. Be humble, thinking of others as better than yourself. Don't look out only for your own interests, but take an interest in others too. You must have the same attitude that Christ Jesus had." And, you know, I guess my next question is, from what I read, do you think that it's possible to do nothing out of selfish ambition?
Is it impossible to do nothing out of selfish ambition? I think it is possible to do things that are not solely selfish, but to base all of my actions on my own selfish ambition. I think it's easier to do that, like to solely do things because I want to do them, versus doing things for like the greater good or to benefit those around me.
I think it is possible. I think it goes back to what we were kind of talking about in the last episode, where talking about like anger and love and like responding. I think it's something where you have to. It's not necessarily that comes natural, and it has to be something that is somehow taught or becomes like almost in its own way, its own like discipline within your life to not be focused on yourself. So I don't think you'll go from like from selfish to selfless like overnight. I think it's okay. It's a range, and you're gonna start. As you're intentional about it, you'll start to be maybe less selfish and more selfless. But again, I think it's just something where you have to be really intentional about it. Because, I mean, as believers, if we're called to love, right, especially the way Christ loved, right, and that scripture was from Philippians, right, that when you look at the book of Philippians, it talks a lot about how we should be loving the way Christ loved, and specifically when he went to the cross and what he demonstrates there. So there's nothing selfish about it. So I think it is possible. I just think it's a discipline, and I do think we need like the power of the Holy Spirit in our life to actually do that.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think that it's something that is easy or comes easy to people. I definitely do believe that it is a discipline, as you said, and we kind of need to not be so self-focused, but we need to like have more regard towards other people, and have like a humility that kind of, imitates Christ. So, but like, what do you think makes it difficult for someone? What do you think makes it difficult to think of someone else as important as yourself?
Why is it difficult to think of someone else on on the same level as you? I think because as humans we do have that selfish nature. So if you're not actively trying to regulate yourself amongst other people, you're always going to think that you're ahead or you're better or you're like, you know what I mean? But again, it's that thing, it's a disciplinary thing that you need to teach yourself or to teach those around you that like, we are all on the same level in some regard. We're all working toward a shared goal or a shared like achievement. So if I were to say that I'm better than you, but we're still striving towards the same goal, if I think I'm better than you and I'm not pulling you up to where I should be, where I am, then I'm just gonna get dragged down to where you are, right? And we also talked about this in the youth group, right? When we were talking about dating. You can't really date someone that is beneath you, right? You need to date someone that is on your level, otherwise you will get dragged down with them. You always have to kind of regulate yourself as, not just regulate yourself, but regulate where you stand amongst those around you. Because if you're not all working together toward a certain goal, you're not really going anywhere. And you can't really work together if you think you're better than them or if you think they're better than you.
I agree. I also think it's very much almost like an unstated like societal thing where like there is a huge focus on self, right? That you're not even, it's not even like, it's almost like a subtle thing that just is a part of our culture to go self first and then everyone else, right? Even if you are thinking of others, it's me first, then you, which is, I don't know, I feel like that's just a part of our culture. And I also think like if you, and by culture I mean American culture, so I do think if you went to some other parts of the world, that me first attitude would be kind of foreign to them. Right, and it would be a little easier to actually look out for the interests of others before yourself. So I do think it's part, for us at least, it's a cultural thing, which you're just kind of taught, hey, you got to look out for yourself.
No one else will, right?
Yeah.
That's
you know, and it's weird because even as you said that, part of like in my gut, I was just like, yeah, but you do need to look out for yourself, like that was the first thing that came to my head, because part of it's like, all right, it's okay, it's dark out right now, right? You're walking to your car, you see someone, they're in help, they seem to need help. It could just as easily be someone trying to kind of set you up to rob you or something else, right? So
I think it's a very New York thing.
And yeah.
That's why they had to make the slogan, like, if you see something, say something, because New Yorkers will literally just walk past it and just completely disregard it.
We still do.
And we still be doing it. Because it's not my business, you know? That's not my business.
So we kind of see how Jesus, he basically humbled himself, came back as a servant, died for all of us, and even though he knew that, we were, we were sinners and whatever, he still loved us. So why do you think love is an essential part of humility?
I don't think you can love others until you are humble enough to do that. Because I think one of the main aspects of why people are narcissistic or become narcissistic is because they are only capable of loving themselves. Right? That's like narcissists, right? Is that the Greek god's name? Whatever his name was. But he fell in love with himself. He was only capable of loving himself, right?
Hercules?
No, it was not Hercules.
Oh, okay. Can we edit that part?
He went from zero to hero. And he was a major hunk.
Okay.
Oh my God, what were their names? The singing ladies in the movie?
They had names?
There was like a group that,
I just looked on
oh my gosh.
the
The vases, yeah, but they had like my phone is basically dead, or I would look it up. But yeah, anyways, but he wasn't humble enough to love others. He was only capable of loving himself. So I think you can only really love other people once you're humble enough to do so. Because also loving someone doesn't mean you're just looking at their good parts, right? You're loving them in their entirety for who they are, their ups and downs. And if you can't really accept the fact that one, I have faults, other people have faults, and we're just different people, then you're not going to be able to love someone as you should or as they should receive.
I kind of think it's the other way around, where you need to have love for others before you can be humble, even though I get what you're saying.
Okay.
Just in the sense of Christ loved us and then humbled himself to take on the form of man.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Okay.
So that's just the only thing that I would kind of say to it. Like, I get what you're saying of as far as, yeah, if you're loving yourself, it's going to be hard to be humble. At the same time, I think if you're not necessarily loving other people, you may not necessarily have a reason to be humble either. So I think they're just more, and maybe it's not one then the other, maybe they're just more intertwined. And that's what makes love an essential part of humility. Maybe to some degree, humility becomes an essential part of love in that sense. I mean, it's, like with the same, when you look at Philippians 2, was it verse 5? It says you have to have the same attitude that Christ Jesus had. And then it goes into all the ways he kind of humbled himself and he came to earth. But I only think that happens because he loved us. I don't think that happens without him first loving us. I feel like it'd be very weird for him to have done everything he did out of humility first and then to love. I feel like that would be kind of weird. And to that, when I want to say it's 1 John, it says that God is love. And which is, again, it's interesting because it doesn't go God is humble, right? It goes God is love, right? That's the driving force in Jesus kind of exemplifying humility in that sense. So I think love is the essential part of humility because it's the driving force in us being humble, right? Because even to what you're saying with the Greek god, you're not going to be humble if you're loving yourself because you're going to be you're going to be just prideful, narcissistic, and you're going to go that other end of it. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with what you both said. I feel like if you're looking at yourself as the center of attention, you're kind of looking at everybody else as lower than you are in a way, and you aren't really being humble. So you don't really see people in the same way that you should, or even in the way that Jesus saw us. And I think that's a good place to end. So stay humble, people.